Beloved brothers and sisters. It is another beautiful, extremely high energetic day. We have been moving through some beautiful expressions. I believe we are maybe 2 days till full moon, perhaps. Something close, that feels like. It feels as though it's a Thursday, so I'd love confirmation of when the full moon is, because sometimes when you work in the quantum realms, you actually forget what day it is, and you forget how to be in linear time. So in my interpretation of what linear time is, could we please place the date below of when full moon is? And welcoming you all onto this transmission now. I'm calling you all in, all of the beings that would like to receive this communication. You are here now. And if you are in the desire to receive this, not from the physical verbal communication, but from the energetic and quantum realms, calling in your higher self so you can receive this transmission in the ethereal or the ether, in the cosmic consciousness of that which you are in your light body. So I am specifically jumping on in a lesson of truth. There was quite an initiation for me that came up, and it's been this humbling experience. It's been so humbling. And it was a moment in time where I was witnessing myself through a mirror, through multiple mirrors at the time, where there was this projection of ego, that I was superior, that I felt that I was a know-it-all, that I felt as though I was someone that didn't listen to other people's opinions. There was this really strong projection on me that I am not open to receiving other people's points of view, which in my truth is completely inaccurate. I'm always receiving the words, I'm receiving the vibration, I'm receiving the multidimensionality of someone. And so I receive a large amount of information from every single being. I'm receiving from you right here, right now. And in this moment of projection and all of these thought forms that were getting thrown at me, I check in with God every moment, all of the time. It's like, okay, what about this is true? What about this is true? What about this is true? If it's in my experience, there's a lesson for me, there's an awareness, there's a learning, there's an activation, there's something here, or it wouldn't be here. And so I went through this process of, okay, so what's really here? If there's this interpretation and there's this a lens of perspective that people are seeing me in this egotistical way, that they're perceiving me to be a know-it-all, that they're perceiving me to be false light or a false guru or self-proclaimed guru, and this is alive, then why are they receiving this? Why is this here? And when I asked God, it was around humility and being humble and being so yielding in the truth, in the way that I express, strong, yet yielding and compassionate in this beautiful divine feminine way. And it was very, very interesting, because when I asked, I was like, I do that, don't I? I was like, I'm humble. God, am I humble? No. And the answer being, no, you're actually not a very humble human being, and you have a lot of humility to look at, and yielding and opening and seeing how you can deliver a message in a way that it is kinder, more compassionate, less frustrated at your own lack of ability to speak the word of truth in such a sweet and succulent way of the divine feminine. And so it was an initiation. Cleansing, clearing, and purifying those that are on this call. So that my channel is clear, so it is not affected by any of the receivers or any of the unconscious energy that is moving through any beings that are here to receive this transmission in purity and truth. And I'm placing a shield around my field so that no outside influences can be in this container, in this space, that would affect my humility and ability to speak in the true divine feminine way. And anything that was projected into my field, any tech and devices are now cleansed, cleared, and purified. I see you. You're not welcome to interfere with this transmission, but I see through the eyes of love. So that, my dears, is extreme clearing of what you would consider tech. So there was an energetic being that came in the middle of that transmission. Now this is something that I've wanted to talk about. Apparently the time is now, because it's very alive and present in my physicality. And so tech and unconscious magic being used through beings that are highly potent and powerful, that are not grounded and basically have not evolved to the point of being able to use their abilities. So very powerful beings that are not evolved humans. And your lack of evolvedness in your human means that you're at the effect of things working through you that perhaps don't have the best interest at heart. And so what happened then was a being that is extremely powerful came onto this live to receive this transmission from her human lens. From her human lens, she came to receive this because she desires unity, she desires connection, and she's very powerful. And yet the shadow work, the evolution of the human consciousness has not been met in the way that is required to be met. And so there are energies that do not have my best interest or your best interest at heart. And so it is a teaching tool in this moment for myself and for anyone who is at this capacity and ability to channel, to ensure that the space is safe, that it is shielded, and that it is a protective layer from any outside influences. And so what happened, because I did not do that, and I did not shield this line, I did not place my security, protection, and safety coding into this space, I am being currently psychically attacked in this space, which is beautiful. This is a beautiful, I love that Source goes, okay, time to talk. This is your channel transmission now. You thought it was this, we're going this way. This is humility. This is being humble. This is yielding to God and speaking the word in every moment and listening to the message that wants to come through. 11:11. So this tech that's still sitting here in my throat, based on my what would I say, my innocence of the beings in my field at all times that I'm being heavily initiated into at the moment, is that I continue to see through the innocent and pure eyes of that which we will call Isis, and all of her previous distortions, that I still see that lens. I still see the purity of all beings. I still see this level of love. I still see this, it's not intentional. And by doing that, we actually create a distortion within our own field that means that we're at the effect of all the things that we're not choosing to see, because the reality is not all beings have our best interest at heart. Not all humans have our best interest at heart. Not everything is here to be in the evolution of the planet into unity or higher levels of ascension. Some desire us to descend. Some desire us to destruct, go into destruction. So this is what tech does. Okay, because I haven't cleared the tech because I'm communicating about the tech. So the tech here, it's like a clamp. Anyone who has the ability to use their vision can tune into my throat, and you'll see there's this clamp that's sitting right here. And when it's seen and witnessed, it starts to freak out, right? It starts to go, uh-oh, I'm caught. They see me. I'm gonna die now, kind of. That's pretty much what the thought is. There's a threat. And so the threat then goes, and the vibrational resonance and the frequency of this tech starts to go insane. The same way your neural pathways, when there's a thought form, an old thought form that's about to die, starts going, fuck, no, we can't die, we have to hold on. This is the same. So this tech here that has been projected into my throat chakra is there to disrupt my channel so that I don't have a clear communication line, so that I can not clearly tell you the message or the transmission that was originally going to come through, and still will once I release this. Now, how did it come into my field? One, we always invite psychic attack. So I'm responsible for that. One, I didn't put up a protective field. Two, I did not allow myself to be aware of what could possibly come into this transmission. And so I didn't set the space into the fullest capacity that I have the ability to and the wisdom to. And so that space was not created, and then I was creating it as I was in the transmission after the fact, right? So this is where we go, prevention is better than cure. But we are in the curing because I did not prevent the experience. So what is here? Other than that, there is also a contract that sits in my throat to whatever this being or consciousness is. That says that my channel is at the assigned agreement to the Galactic Federation, and that when I released myself from the Galactic Federation, I did not release myself from the Galactic Federation through the body. Now see that? See how I identified the frequency and the vibration of the thought that was through my channel? As soon as I identified it, it released. Now, I respond very quickly because I don't hold resistance. The identification that my vessel has been contracted to the Galactic Federation is no longer true for me, and I reclaim my vessel and my channel. This is mine. This is God's. I only use my channel for that of God's word and God's law. Now, as this is releasing, see that as I'm identifying the contracts that are inside my field, my body instantly releases the energy, and this is becoming less effective in my field. It cannot affect my communication as much. I'm not choking as much. It's not clasping my throat as much. There is still one more contract. Is there anything else other than that? No. So there's one contract that still sits here that's holding this in place, which is why I couldn't just dismantle it. And that contract is that the Galactic Federation have rights over, nice. The Galactic Federation have rights over my physical vessel because I signed it over when my, this makes me angry, when my birth mother chose to register myself to the government through my birth certificate. And I'm considered a dead entity. Now this is where sovereign law and common law comes in, which I've actually just started researching, so everything coexists at the same time. So I'm now breaking all oaths, vows, agreements, and contracts that my mother made consciously or unconsciously that gave rights to my physical vessel as I became a dead entity when my birth certificate was registered with the Australian government. Now, is there anything else holding this in place? No. There's a little bit of anger, but not anger that I have to clear, just more anger that gives me empowerment to continue this. We are under God's law, not just our consciousness, but our vessel. And so now that I've come aware of this as being an entrapment process that takes place when our parents sign us over in our birth certificate to the Illuminati, what happens is we become a dead entity then. And then what happens with the Galactic Federation, because they're the polarity, which are not here for your sovereignty. I will continue to say this over and over and over and over and over again. They do not have your best interest at heart. They want to keep you entrapped. That then, as you become a dead entity because you've signed a contract that you are no longer living, the Galactic Federation can come in and claim your body. Now that's a little bit of fuckery, right? It's not great. It's like you're actually fully entrapped into the lightness and the darkness and the duality and the polarity that exists within our experience. So, now that we have identified that, we now have a choice to reclaim it. So you, yourself, in this live transmission, an educational process, can declare whether or not you receive your birth certificate, whether or not you do common law, whether or not you actually have ever communicated with the Galactic Federation or not, whether or not you have any awareness of what this is. If there's a resonance in your being that you have been contracted to either of those agendas, you can reclaim through sovereign choice your body and your mind. Your body, your life, your chi, literally your chi is your life. That's what's given up at birth, which means they can feed off you. That's the mineral that this galaxy actually, that's the exchange. It's actually chi, it's not gold. We say it's gold, it's actually not, it's chi. It's your life force. You are being fed off, you're being siphoned. It is so uncomfortable to look at, but this is the reality. And whilst these contracts are in play and you're unaware of them, you are at the effect of them. This is why I speak into the dynamics of light and dark and the manipulations and the distortions of them, is because then you can be sovereign. Then you don't choose that. You cannot not choose something if you do not know what you are choosing. Everything is awareness. Everything is empowerment. Everything allows you to reclaim your sovereign truth as the child of God that you are. Now, the only thing that remains in my throat is the device that's there. There is no contracts, there's no entanglements, there's no energetic cords. There's just a device that's causing a little bit of fuckery in my throat. So in the awareness that this device can no longer hold or maintain its hold on my throat chakra, I now dismantle all atoms, molecules, and particulates. Mia taria coria shetekeria setocoria tekeriandiana. Mia setekeriandea toria tea shetekeria tututucoria tiandiani. Mehe setekeriandianaya hataya coria tea tia tia tiana. And send it down a healing portal. Down the earth. Never ever ever thought I'd be one of those people that would burp live on camera. That would have just absolutely 11:22 would have destroyed my ego. And today's lesson was on etiquette. It actually was. In Purity of Isis, we talked about etiquette. It's a cosmic joke, right? It's absolutely a cosmic joke. Now, that has been cleared. I'm going to take 3 deep breaths into this space to ensure that all the energetic signatures that came into my field are now released. There we go. Gone. Whew. Now, back to our original transmission. Our original transmission, rewiring my neural pathways and my central channel to be without the influence of the Galactic Federation. Right, okay. Continuing on. So I asked God, and they're like, you're forgetting the activation. So when we clear something, say a contract, an oath, a vow, when we clear a block, we also have something that is to be reclaimed or activated within our field that has laid dormant. So what's sitting here now, this little bit of clunkiness in my throat, that was the hole effectively in my auric field, the weakening in my auric field, was the hole allowed for the penetration, right? So it's like the psychic attack was a gift, really, if we look at it. It was like, beautiful, I just got psychic attacked on a live transmission, and now I get to show you what I go through on a regular day-to-day basis all of the time to see my wounds. And so there was a wound that was sitting here. That was the contract that my body was assigned to the Galactic Federation, and now there's a hole in my auric field that requires to be healed. Now, it can be healed by returning source light, golden energy, chi. It can be reclaimed through reclaiming my body, reclaiming my voice, reclaiming my channel. I can't believe that sometimes. Thanks, God. This is humility, apparently. This is a lesson in humility. Okay, so there is an activate. Is there an activation? Yes, there's an activation that sits in my throat chakra to reclaim the technology that has been used, Galactic Federation's desire to receive higher information so that they could try and interject with intentional discord, so that those of us that are here for unity consciousness have been intentionally distracted by false light narratives to lead us off our true path. And so this technology, or this ability to use my channel for my oracle vision, which shows the future plan, has been taken, or we will say stolen, effectively from the Galactic Federation. And I would now like that back, as you have no right to use. See how quick it is? It literally dropped into my body that quickly. because I have located within there is a breach of universal law. There is a breach of sovereign free will. There is a manipulation of the light and the dark, and the entrapment that happens through not showing us the whole reality at once. They're not really telling us the truth. They're telling us the truth, but they're not at the same time. And that's how we are entrapped in slavery as a human race. And so as I identified that they're actually breaching a universal law by taking an aspect of my being and my body and my vessel, I can reclaim it. So I return all of those soul fragments, cleansed, cleared, and purified, back into my body. And I return all technology and all codexes and templates that have been taken, stolen, or manipulated as a swap. Returning that and fully activating these into my field now. And fully integrating and allowing them to be present here with me. Are we complete? Yes. Okay. Now, if you would like to actually know this process, because what you got to see, are we complete? Are we definitely complete? Yes. Just realigning. So if you would like to know this process, if this is something that was like, what the fuck did she just do? What did she just go through? That was really cool, or that was really weird, but there's something about that was interesting. Or if you are aware of how multidimensional that was and how we can actually bring it back to like a really 3D lens of the human consciousness, then the DAC process will teach you these steps. It is a mastermind that's on the 7th of March. Which I would absolutely love to share with you if this resonated in some way, so you can understand how to do this yourself. And it is for beginners as well as super advanced beings. So it meets every layer of consciousness, and it's an extremely powerful process, and it will be being streamlined and sent out to the mainstream. So this is my mainstream modality, and my mainstream modality will require facilitators. So if you are feeling the resonance to what you just experienced and would like to have some greater awareness on how to reclaim your sovereignty and your truth and come into your essence, then please comment below that you would like the information for the DAC process and the mastermind and how to join that. Now we're going back in time to the original transmission, which is I asked God if I was humble, and God said no. And what I wanted to bring into this, in its highest truth, is that humility and being humble and really choosing that soft way of speaking truth with stern discernment, with courage, with the, I know this to be true, but I don't need to actually project it onto anyone. I don't need to make another wrong in their perspective of how they see or perceive me. I do not have to fight for them to receive my message, but instead I can anchor in to my vulnerability of what is actually true for me. And so for me, this journey of humility has been such a awakening of how much I was unable to be soft in the truth. I was unable to be soft in the ability to share God's word. And the divine feminine's way is to share through the nurture, the soft, the sweetness, yet she is fierce in that softness. She will speak to the truth, but it's not violent. It's not volatile. It's not in a way that would make any other wrong. And that is the key. There is an aspect of this that we do not know how to be vulnerable. We have not been taught how to be vulnerable in this reality. In this reality that we are living in, vulnerability is far from the truth that we know within our being. We have been shut off, suppressed, shut down, angry, and fought against vulnerability our entire life. And even the ones that perceive and think they're vulnerable, often have not met the depths of the soft, sweet vulnerability that is within. The softness of that we all hold in our own way of expressing. Vulnerability allows for depth and connection. Vulnerability for a facilitator or for someone who is choosing to be a speaker of the word is the very thing that might just allow someone to open to receiving it. The vulnerability of humility to go, I am human, and I am continually asking for God's forgiveness for where I did not know. I am continually asking for God's compassion for the times that I thought I knew better. I am continually asking for God's realignment and gentleness and grace for when I did not listen the first whisper. And so this learning to be a true embodiment of a channel, whether you are man or woman, it will be represented different. But the woman, any being that is in a female form, that has a vagina and a reproductive system of a woman, will come to at some point in their evolution that they are the divine feminine embodiment. They chose this because they want to be this. They want to experience life through love. They want to experience themselves through softness, compassion, gentleness, nurture. They want to be caring. They want to guide. They want the intuitive. They want to be a channel of divinity, to be the oracle. That is a desire for the divine feminine. Whether that is from the level of this highly evolved expression, or whether it's the simplicity of you're a woman and you want to be a mother. You're a woman and you want to be a nurturer of your husband. You're a woman and you want to devote yourself to someone else outside of yourself because you love to give love. You like to make beautiful spaces. You like to create spaces where people feel loved or they feel seen. You like to work with feeling. Feeling is what lights you up. And if you are a man and you came into this experience to become and remember your divine masculinity, no matter how many incarnations, you are here to become the divine masculine expression, which is solid in your protection, solid in your conviction, solid in your knowing. But you cannot meet that part without the humility, the vulnerability, and the awareness of where you are not, where you are ego, where you are force, where you are projecting, where you are volatile, where you don't listen, where you are not receptive to the environment, where you have decided that this is the way and this is the only way. The divine masculine cannot be the divine masculine if they are still fighting with what they are. And so vulnerability, humility, and this ability to hold compassion and yielding is both man and woman meeting union with God. To become unified, we must yield into Source. And Source shares the aspects within and externally that are not aligned and true with union, that are not our authentic expression. And so this is such a beautiful way to recognize, where am I not being my authentic truth, based on masculine, feminine, based on man, on woman, based on the fact that I am scared to be vulnerable. I am scared to open my heart. I am scared to feel. And so humility and being humble is about claiming your feeling, claiming your thoughts, claiming who you be in vulnerability of, this is who I am, and it is uncomfortable. This is how I think. This is what I'm experiencing. This is true for me right now. And starting to open to sharing that. If you desire that with God, if you desire that with self and another, then the only way to that humility is through the vulnerability. And when we can speak in that, I am not God, but God speaks through me, that's when we can create real change. By allowing ourselves to open to the yielding, the discomfort of, yeah, okay, thank you. I am not humble yet, but I am learning and I am slowly integrating it. I love you, Ahava, and God bless.